Easter Monday. I'm Barbara. It's April 13th. I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you had a lovely Easter if you celebrate. I hope you had a nice Passover if that's what you celebrate. And are feeling calm this morning. I had a terrible night's sleep, so I'm feeling very low energy, and I apologize for that. But it is what it is. No sleep for the weary. I did do some cleaning yesterday, so that feels good. The house is a little cleaner. I do need to clear off this table because we're going to have to do our taxes one of these days. We are having a very, very, very dreary day. It rained. It poured all night. Ask me how I know. And we are under a wind watch right now. It's going to maybe gust up to 60 miles an hour. Dennis says there will be a break in the rain in a few minutes, and I got to put some shoes on and take Pearl out because she is very wary of the weather, and she will not go out and pee in the rain. Which means she didn't pee last night, and she hasn't peed yet this morning. She does have an iron constitution, so I'm not worried, but it's going to be thunderstorms at around 2 o'clock. She will be nowhere near a door then, so we need to get her out and make sure she does her business. So that's one of my tasks for this morning. Maybe my only task that I have to do. Otherwise, I'm just hanging out. I have nothing to talk about. I haven't had any grand thoughts. I'm not currently, in the middle of a rant in my head for some reason. I'm just feeling, mellow, low energy, and gonna hang out today. I started my second color of my fading in my second sock blank on my boxy, so that's fun. It's, very subtle. This is going to be very subtle, the transition, but I think it's going to be pretty fun sweater. So that's good. Oh, I'm wearing my Navelli. Speaking of sweaters, this is my Navelli Tee by Caitlin Hunter. This is the only colorwork sweater I've ever made, and it is likely to remain thus. Because I hated every minute of that color work, and I don't know why, and I'm sad that I hated it all, but I did. I didn't enjoy knitting that color work at all. I took a color work class at Vogue Knitting Live in 2017 from Susan B. Anderson, and I made a beautiful hat, which I enjoyed. I've started the hat there. It had Latvian braid and color work, and it was really cute, and I really loved it. I finished it. I think I might have even finished it that weekend because I sat up in my hotel room. I was there by myself. Sat up there in my hotel room knitting on Latvian braid and the color work and finished that hat. Really loved it. Really loved that hat. It blew off my head in Patagonia and went over a cliff. I almost went after it. I was this close. I was so sad. I was so sad. But it was really windy in Patagonia. We could not finish that walk. That's how windy it was. It wasn't safe for us to be walking out on flat. We were at the edge, looking at a waterfall when my hat blew off. Straight down. I was so sad. Luckily, I was knitting on a hat as my knitting project while I was there, and I was close to finish. So I had a hat because I needed a hat. But, that broke my heart. I may be able to find that pattern because it was a hard copy pattern that she gave us for the class. I'm not a very organized person, so it won't surprise you to know that I have no great confidence that I can find that pattern, but I might be able to find that pattern. I can knit it again, and maybe if I knit it again, I would feel better. But meanwhile, in my Navelli t-shirt, the tee, this is all this is all yarn from the natural dyers that I made my Edie sweater that I finished in my last podcast. Same, you can see the same color scheme. And so this was made from yarn from those guys too, because I think I must have gone to twice at least to Maryland, maybe 3 times, and bought yarn at their booth because it's so gorgeous and I love it, and I have more. But I made this whole sweater out of their yarn. There's the color work. This was supposed to be maroon, but I tried to set the dye and I didn't set it correctly for natural dye, and so I turned it into kind of a brownie color, but it still works beautifully, and it is not the yarn or the colors of the yarn that caused me to not like color work. I may try again. And this has sort of this cute detail. The sleeves, the cuff of the sleeve is doubled and the inside is the alternate color. And I don't recall if, oh, I know what I did. I added just a little bit of the color at the bottom. You work this from the bottom, so I cast on. I did a long tail cast on, and one of my tails was the contrasting color, so it has a little tiny contrasting color right at the edge, which I do not believe is a feature of the pattern. That was a little something I added. So anyway, and I do have another colorwork sweater, but that was one I bought in Norway. And I can tell you that Norwegian sweater, you don't need a coat. I hardly ever wore that sweater because it had to be freezing in the house to wear that sweater in the house. That sweater was for when the power went out, you know. Or actually, it would be a wonderful fall outerwear. But now I haven't tried it on. I'm sure it doesn't fit me anymore. But I'll keep it. It's my souvenir from Norway. My parents gave my mother is first generation Norwegian American, and she went to Norway in the 70s and met lots of her cousins and everything. Her mother and her father left Norway separately, didn't know each other, and met while they were in the United States and married. And so my mother had, didn't know very many of her relatives. I think her sister had a sister, or her father had a sister who came or something. So she had an aunt and some cousins and, not too much family in the United States. She grew up in Oregon. And in the 70s, she went and visited and connected with lots and lots of relatives. And that was wonderful for her to have all those people. And when my daughter graduated from college, her graduation gift from my parents was a trip to Norway with them to meet her relatives and to see Norway. And so I went along. I said, I'm coming too. So Dennis hasn't been to Norway, but I have. What a beautiful country. And wonderful people, of course. We were there visiting family. We were there for 2 weeks. We stayed in a hotel one night and we ate dinner in a restaurant one night. So we were having family time and wonderful people. And we went all over the country to my grandfather's farm and that he grew up on, some wonderful stories to tell there, which I might do sometime. But my souvenir from that, one of my souvenirs, I'm a shopper. I used to be a shopper on vacation. I'm not so much anymore, but we went to a porcelain factory and I bought porcelain seconds of Farmer's Rose. And you had to be an expert to tell the seconds because I couldn't figure out why any of them were seconds. And then I was able to ship them home. So we have our Norwegian dishes, our fancy dishes. I'll go get one for you. Very traditional pattern. You can see this is the bowl. And so this is orange, and I'm not sure if you can see that. That's really orange. It's not red. Yeah, I don't have good lighting here today. So it makes it interesting to try to match the colors with the colors of linen and things like that. But so I have a whole set of these. Luckily, Dennis liked them because I bought them while I was there. We didn't have any wedding china or anything. We're not really china people. We don't use these very often, but Dennis loves them and wants to use them much more often than I do. You have to hand wash them. They have gold. They have gold on the edge. So they're hand washed, of course. But I like to keep, you know. But he's right. We should use them more because why have them if you're not going to use them? So anyway, but my other souvenir was my sweater, which is where this all came from. Anyway, I don't really have too much to talk about. I watched Glow Up last night. I've been kind of binging that a little bit. Glow Up is on Netflix, and it's one of these, you know, reality competition shows, and this is for makeup artists, and it's very nice. It's British. The British ones are so nice. You know, people are nice. They're nice to each other. They're, you know, that's nice. So I enjoyed that. I have the finale to watch tonight, and then I have to find something else that I feel like watching while I work on my boxy. And I can't remember if I told you I've started my second color. It's going to be quite subtle but lovely, and that's fun. I'll show you that tomorrow, I guess. But meanwhile, I will say farewell. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a way better day than we're going to have. I hope it stopped raining so I can take Pearl out, make sure she's okay, and I'm going to have a quiet, low-key day because that's how it works on a no-sleep night. No sleep last night. Very little sleep. But that's okay. I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I'm probably not going anywhere. I don't think we're going to be able to get a walk-in today because it's going to be so terrible. So I will wish you farewell and hope you are well and hope you're staying healthy. Wash your hands. Be careful. Craft for your sanity and stay sane and stay safe.